Porzingis takes center stage, and he delivered in the first half.
When you say 16 points and a half, that's not bad. Now, he and the bench came in with 31.
Today, should Chip leave?
Go where? He just got there.
That's a good point. How about the Raiders?
Oh, my God. Can we do our show from Vegas?
Right now! And Dez apparently cooks soup.
What kind?
All of it. SportsNation starts now. That's my guy. That's my guy.
SportsNation is presented by Toyota.
Welcome to SportsNation. It's the day before Friday. My name is Michelle Beadle.
You thought it was Friday.
You thought it was Friday.
Until about 10 minutes ago. Marcellus, Wiley, Anita Marks is back, joining us for the second day in a row. And unfortunately, we have to start today's show with the all-too-familiar topic of domestic violence in sports. News coming out that Giants kicker Josh Brown admitted to domestic violence against his ex-wife in letters, emails, and a journal, according to police documents released today. The NFL had originally suspended him 1 game for violating the personal conduct policy. They released a statement today. NFL investigators made repeated attempts, both orally and in writing, to obtain any and all evidence and relevant information in this case from the King County Sheriff's Office. Each of those requests was denied, and the Sheriff's Office declined to provide any of the requested information, which ultimately limited our ability to fully investigate this matter, adding they're reviewing their options. Steve Smith weighing in on the news. Very strongly worded tweet. We love me some Steve Smith. Anita, you know Josh Brown, so we will start with you. Your reaction to all of it.
Shocked. First of all, a few weeks ago, of course, when the NFL came down with the 1-game suspension, and just shocked again reading what was in this journal. I've covered the Giants for 7 years, and so I've known Josh Brown in his tenure since he's been with the Giants. I've played in golf tournaments with him. A really nice guy, very thoughtful, great with the media, somewhat charming. And so what's frightening is, and I think we've all kind of been in a situation at one point in time, is that do you really know somebody? If all that he has written in that journal is true, I find it quite frightening.
And why wouldn't it be true? I mean, they're his journals, with the idea, of course, being that they're for his own personal and perhaps a therapy session or what have you. So you would think everything in there is something that has happened.
Yeah, I can't defend Josh Brown. No one should try and defend Josh Brown. Let's talk about enlightening all to the process, because the NFL finds itself in a gray area because of what's happened time and time again, especially when it comes to domestic violence. During the discovery process, what are your presumptions? I think that's where the NFL is stuck. Obviously, in our country, the law says presumption of innocence. But now more implications, more allegations makes people want to make that presumption of guilt. Because if you can't figure out in discovery, someone says Josh Brown did X. And that day, through the interim process, you're trying to figure out what occurred truthfully, factually. What do you do with that same player in the meantime? The NFL has to get to a bottom line understanding and stance on that, or else this is going to continue to occur.
He's as of right now, he's going with the team, right?
Yes. So as of right now, Josh Brown is going to board the flight. The Giants leave. They head across the pond. They're taking on the Rams, as we know, Sunday morning. Dan Quinn, the offensive special teams coach, spoke to the media just a few minutes ago and said that as of right now, Josh Brown is their field goal kicker. He's their starting field goal. Now, just because he boards the flight and he heads there.
But why are you why are you putting yourself in a position as a Giants team who has prided itself time and time again, year after year, about how they're different, they're special, they have these values that we're all supposed to take so seriously? Why is it even a thought to let this dude on a plane right now?
Well, you know what? Let me answer that, not in this individual case, because the journals, the personal implications are different.
Said it.
Yeah, that's
it's the verbal form of a video, and apparently that's what the NFL needs every single time in order to do something.
I draw back
another thing, but really quick. I mean, just really quick. Now, also, what's been communicated to me is just because he's boarding this flight and he's flying there doesn't necessarily mean that come game time, he will be the field goal kicker. And then there was a follow-up question, well, then who would be the field goal kicker? And Dan Quinn said, there's a lot of guys on this team that can kick, and one in particular, believe it or not, is Odell Beckham Jr.
Right.
Now, that would be interesting.
I think fans are not privy to knowing what the scope of allegations and accusations on to players in the volumes over the years has made this a different process that they need to now flesh out, because Former player safety, being a part of the NFL Director of Security, being a former player rep, I saw it. I understood where fans were coming from, but I also understood where sometimes it seems like you were frozen in those moments of not acting. It's because the scope of allegations that occur to an NFL team and to the NFL entity
But
are
isn't
a lot
it better
bigger than
to err on the side in this particular case? Dude, do not pack a bag. Do not come to the facility. Do not get on this plane. We'll figure it out. But you're not getting on this plane right now because everything in those journals, the first paragraph alone was a lot. And that is a video in verbal form. I don't get it. And somehow, some way, we're going to go from that topic to another one. That's just absurd. The 49ers under Chip Kelly are now 1-5. His once vaunted fast-paced offense is now viewed as a joke by some in the league. According to NFL insider Jason LaCanfora, one anonymous league executive said, quote, he just keeps running the same poo and it isn't fooling anybody. Do you think they could bring him back to Oregon? Wow.
Damn.
Just like that, we're throwing him back to Oregon, Marcellus.
I'm not throwing him back to
Why?
Oregon. First of all, anonymous NFL exec.
Can't you love when that happens?
Yeah, unless you are an exec on the Broncos, shut your butt up because you lost last year just like every other 31 of those teams except the Broncos. So everyone's back in the drawing board. That's one. Two, Chip Kelly. Everyone wants to pick on Chip Kelly. Why? Because he has a big name. He has the great style that's supposed to transition, and people say it didn't. Oh, I like Chip Kelly to the tune of I like Chip Kelly more than a few coaches in this league. If you want to send somebody somewhere else, let's look at this list. All right. All right. Hey, Hugh.
Heck no.
Hey, Hugh.
Heck
Hey,
no,
Mr. 8-8. All right.
Don't
Oh,
play
sorry.
around
0-6.
Okay.
Mr. 8-8, 0-6.
Really?
I'm not good with
Who's
you.
his quarterback?
What does that matter?
his
What's Chip
number-
Kelly's quarterback?
Wait a minute.
Chip Kelly's quarterback is a vegan.
Marcellus,
So he can't even eat meat.
Marcellus, his number one wide receiver,
Or eggs.
his number one wide receiver is a glorified quarterback.
Okay, that's great.
Are you kidding me?
But, all right, look, he has 2 years under his belt, but so far a losing record in the league. Chip Kelly, his first 2 years, 10-6, 10-6. I stand corrected. All right, so Ben McAdoo, get your butt up out of here.
I'm good with that.
Eli can't even get better, and then you can't even manage Odell Beckham Jr. Jim Caldwell, okay, you had your Super Bowl appearance, but besides that, 2-14, have we forgot that year? What is he doing right now in Detroit? Who's the quarterback situation? That's what's lazy about coaches. They always say, well, who's my quarterback? Can you coach? How about that?
But you have to, quarterback and head coaches go together.
No,
Look,
not all the time.
They do. Look around the league.
Love you, Trent Dilfer. Not all the
you
time.
think Bill Belichick would have the success that he has in New England if he didn't have Tommy Boy?
No, but guess what? Vice versa as well. I think there's the continuum is you have to respect that coaches can make a situation better because no matter who is the quarterback, somehow Belichick figures it out.
In all fairness, Chip Kelly came in with a spotlight, and I think that's partly why we
That's all.
expect
It's
more.
low-hanging fruit.
Little quick nugget here. I'm told Chip will not go back to college because he doesn't like recruiting, but he did recruit somebody sitting to my left.
Shots.
Yeah, awkward.
Well, look, I'm a little biased. He did
No,
recruit.
you're just not loyal.
No.
Moving on. Washington tight end Jordan Reed suffered a concussion against the Ravens in Week 5. He revealed this week, however, that he never actually told anyone he was concussed and played the rest of the game. I got hit in the back of the head. I kind of kept it to myself. I was feeling it throughout the game, but I kept playing. The next day I was doing some exercises, and I started to feel it worse. Marcellus, he's suffered 5 concussions in 4 years. Is it even surprising that he hid the injury?
It's not surprising to me. I would have did the same exact thing, being in those moments. I was in those moments before the concussion protocol. I played in that era where if you got a dinger, you couldn't see straight. The thing that you could see is that pot of gold at the end of that game, the pot of gold at the end of the season, that pot of gold for keeping your starting position, and no guy wants to tap out. So I understand now there are thresholds where now there's an independent doctor who tells you you're concussed, but if you're going to leave it up to the player to say, I want to tap out and lose out on opportunities and money.
It's like children. Children aren't going to, they don't want to come out of anything. They don't want to go inside.
Two things for me. Number one, where were the eyes in the sky? Why is it on him to have to tell his organization, his doctors, that he has a concussion? Every NFL game, there are eyes in the sky watching.
But didn't that look like a football play?
Watching for potential.
That didn't look like a concussion play. That looked like a football play.
He got hit in the back of the head.
Okay. Well, if you watch football, that happens almost every play.
These guys are supposed to be hawks. Look at this. These guys are supposed to be hawks watching these games. Number two, what does it say that in the last part of his comment, I got to take care of my family and do what I got to do? I mean, if you look at guys who've
That's
suffered,
the problem.
you look at guys who've suffered concussions and the amount of just the problems that they face later on in life.
You got to guarantee that money.
Suicide.
You got to get to later on in life.
Depression.
You have
Players
to
are
get
thinking
some
you gotta
money.
get there.
That's all you have to make sure.
To sacrifice what he could be suffering with later on in life.
But he's not going to think that way.
No.
Because he knows
you need to,
the money's
you need
gone.
to.
There
You
are
need to.
30 dudes just waiting for that spot to open up. And unless they have
Wow.
some sort of way the NFL comes through and make sure these guys... If we quit or if something happens with us, we get a little money to leave.
A nice
we get
golden parachute.
Some of us more than others to
Yes.
leave. And so these guys get hurt and there's nothing.
It's
and that's
bye.
terrifaying.
Yeah. It's a one-way bus ticket. That's
So it's
it.
almost a no-win situation at this point.
Yeah.
We have some jeers. You're welcome. 3 of them. First up, Jabari Parker. Bucks, Pacers.
Jabari. What you got? Oh, is he on Paul George? That ain't gonna be pretty.
Well, he had some good moments.
He had some good moments, and that wasn't one. And you
It's all
picked
right.
that one.
Yeah.
Paul
We
George.
don't have cheers anymore, only cheers.
Dark horse for the MVP,
Do
Paul
you
George.
fade like that? Do you have a fade jumper like
I
that?
have no jump. You seen me play?
0 jumpers.
Zero.
The Dodgers just getting an overall cheer, really.
Yeah.
Oh, that thing fell apart.
Look at that.
quickly.
Oh, bad news Bears out there last night.
Yeah, right.
Sorry, Francis.
They woke the Cubs up. Cubs couldn't score in 2 games. They said, we saved it for this one. 10.
By the way, we're jeering Steph Curry. I think that's illegal in some parts of the world, but yeah, here it is.
Wow. Ooh, I wish that was Chris Paul who did that. Get him back.
Oh, honey.
Never can get him back.
No. That's cute.
Steph is still slumping from the playoffs.
Week 7 of the fantasy football season starts tonight. Yes. Who will be a baller? Who's a faller? We asked Matthew Berry for fantasy advice next.
This is Sports Nation.
Sports Nation is presented by Toyota. Let's go places. And in part by Wrangler. Be comfortable in your own jeans.
Welcome back. This segment is for fantasy experts only, which is exactly why Matthew Berry, Anita Marks, and myself, we're all here. We call it ballers or fallers. Honestly, I'm just going to say like 7 words. So here we go. Carson Wentz, first up, takes on the tough Vikings defense. Baller or faller, Berry?
Yeah, he's a faller. You know, looked like a fluster rookie last week against Washington, repeatedly pressured, sacked 5 times, hit 11. The Eagles really miss Lane Johnson. And here come the Vikings off a bye. Only 2 teams in the NFL have more sacks. And the Vikings have played just 5
Sure,
games. They're going to get after Wentz here.
Feels like Friday. I need a drink right now. But Minnesota, they've only played in 5 games so far this season. They've had a bye. In those 5 games, they've only have given up. I need a drink.
Are you
Where's
too
the
drunk?
They've only given up 4 touchdowns to opposing quarterbacks. Go.
Why couldn't I do this segment?
Hold on. CJ Anderson. Your mic is off. CJ Anderson. That's your next guy.
C.J. Anderson is a baller, Michelle.
Thank you.
I know a lot of people worried about Devontae Booker, but Anderson actually outsnapped Booker 57-15 in the last game. He also had 1 catch, 47 yards, and a touchdown called back by penalty on 3 plays. Yes, Booker will be more involved, but honestly, I still expect him to get the majority of snaps against a Texans team that has allowed more than 105 rushing yards to running backs or a rushing touchdown in every game this season.
You concur?
That's right. I concur. Yes, 4 games. The Houston Texans have given up 100, if not more, rushing yards to teams. So even if Devontae Booker is in, enough yardage to go around.
You guys are right so far. Antonio Brown, baller or faller?
He's a baller, and it's embarrassing that we even have to talk about this, but I know a lot of people are worried about the injury to Ben Roethlisberger, and they talk about the fact that last year he struggled without Roethlisberger, but the majority of that was with Michael Vick. There was only 1 game last year where the situation was similar. Landry Jones knew from the beginning of the week that he was the starter. He got all the reps with the ones, and in that game against Kansas City last year, 6 for 124 on 8 targets. You don't love the matchup with the Patriots. You don't love the fact that he's without Ben, but he's Antonio Brown. He's still a top 10 wide receiver for me this week.
Here's the thing. What do we know about Bill Belichick? He goes into a matchup and he takes 1 player out of the equation. You just got to cross your fingers and hope that that's Le'Veon Bell and not Antonio Brown. But I'm with Matthew here. You don't bitch Antonio Brown and sleep well at night. You just don't do it.
That was too much talking. Y'all could have just said it's Antonio Brown. Terrell Pryor, baller or faller?
Yeah, unfortunately, he's a faller.
Oh,
that hamstring injury, we just don't know the extent of it. Is he going to be active? Is he not? Even if he's active, could he potentially be a decoy? We just don't know. And so because he's such a talented player, but because of the hamstring issues, and those are so tricky, for me, I'm nervous. I have him as a faller this week. I would not trust him if I had better options.
I'm just going to go ditto. Agree with everything Matthew just said.
It's because you're both fantasy experts. You should.
There you go. We're just trying to talk so you don't have to, Beadle.
Thank you. Golden Tate, faller.
He is a faller. I know he had the huge game last week and it's terrific, but I want to see it more than once. Don't look now, Beadle, but since getting embarrassed by Antonio Brown in that Monday night opener, which, by the way, happens to a lot of people, the Redskins have allowed just 2 touchdowns to opposing wide receivers in their last 5 games. I expect Marvin Jones to do well in this game. I don't believe it for Golden Tate. Don't want to trust him just yet. Need to see it again.
Interesting. So week 5, Jim Bob Cooter. I just love saying his
My
name.
favorite.
I know. I love saying his name. He said that Golden Tate was going to get more involved. It didn't happen week 5. It happened week 6. But now, I just 165 yards against the Rams. I can't put this guy on my bench. He's definitely a flex play for me. So I actually think he is going to be a baller.
Finally, disagree.
A disagreement.
Moving on. Phillip Rivers against the Falcons. Matthew.
Yeah, Rivers, it's been a bit up and down year for Phillip. He's had 13 fantasy points or fewer in 3 different games, but I believe this game is a crazy shootout. Obviously, the Falcons managed to, take on Paxton Lynch and a less than 100% Russell Wilson. But other than that, teams have been able to throw on them. I expect Matt Ryan to have a huge game here against that banged-up Charger secondary, so Rivers is going to have to throw to keep up with him. Both teams are in the top 3 of the NFL in pass attempts. A lot of scoring for me in Chargers-Falcons on Sunday.
Agree with him. 4 games, the Atlanta Falcons defense has given up over 300, if not more, passing yards to opposing quarterbacks. I love Phillip Rivers this week.
You guys, I agree with everything you just said. Finally, the quarterback of my fantasy team, which, P.S., is 1-5. Thank you very much, Russell Wilson. I don't care. What do I do?
You know what? Only Michelle Beadle would brag about a 1-5 team because she thinks that's better than what she thought she would be at this point in the season.
Right.
So we're excited about you, Michelle. I think it's going to be another long day for Russell Wilson fantasy-wise. Here's his fantasy point totals per week: 11, 13, 24, and 10. It's been a fairly pedestrian year so far for Wilson. He is getting healthier. At the end of the year, he's going to be a stud. But right now, I think this is a game that's heavy in Kristen Michael because you can actually run on Arizona. They're 17th against the run the past 4 weeks, but they have the 3rd lowest completion percentage against, a league-high 9 interceptions. This game is in Arizona. I think Wilson has a solid day, but he's outside my top 10.
Agree. Listen, you just heard what I said about the Atlanta Falcons defense. He didn't put up any touchdowns against them, so he can't put up points against the Atlanta Falcons. He's definitely not going to put up points against the Arizona Cardinals, so I do agree with Matthew that he is a faller.
Well, 1-6 has a nice ring to it, if you ask me. Matthew, thank you as always for your expert fantasy advice. Anita, you as well, but you're not leaving. You are, Matthew. We'll be right back.
I am. Love you both.
Winners and losers next. Time for Pulse of the Nation, presented by Toyota. Sure, we have winners and losers. Let's start with a Lakers fan who brought his puppy to the game. This was down in San Diego. Anita?
I love it. I love it. I take my dogs everywhere.
She does.
If you don't know, I take them to work.
Someone's starving for attention.
I do. Oh, look. See? Yeah. I took them. See?
That's the new one.
Oh, look. Is that you?
Yeah, that's Leroy Jenkins.
I like Leroy, though.
I take them.
You want to see something interesting? Let me bring Quincy to the game, see what happens.
Throw them in a little bag.
Nobody wants cats around, dude.
Yeah. You imagine Quincy going to a game?
30 of those.
That's the game.
You're like one chihuahua.
I don't have
dogs at home.
Losing. Warriors continue to win, but Kevin Durant was a victim. That's not right. Are you guys all in on the Vegas? Hey, I'm just going
Michelle, it's not Friday.
I don't know who to tell you whose fault that is. Raiders owner Mark Davis plans to file paperwork in January. He wants to move the team to Vegas. You know this. This is a done deal, right?
Oh, it's a done deal.
I love it.
It's a done deal? You agree?
I think so.
I'm already moving out there.
The stadium.
Oh, you are?
The stadium, 2 thumbs up.
I'm going to commute. I'm going to commute every morning to come back.
Let me ask you this.
Can you
Why don't we all put
better
our
city?
money in and get a mansion together?
And a private jet.
Ooh.
And then we can do the show from here and then go there.
We need a couple hundred people to go
All
in on this.
degenerates like myself who love Vegas.
Yeah.
Jump on board. Let's go.
Oh, who doesn't want to watch
Man,
the game?
at what point do you get sick of that? That's going to be crazy.
Never.
Winner, carrots. Des Bryant told reporters he sliced his finger cutting carrots while Wait, you don't believe he was preparing soup? What else are you doing?
What NFL player? come on,
at him. He's right there
Marcellus.
making soup.
What NFL
believe
player
him.
actually cooks for themselves these days?
I
Oh,
cooked this
personal
morning. I
chef.
made me an omelet with some asparagus, and then I put some turkey kielbasa in there.
Cutting
Yeah,
carrots.
yeah. You ever try to
Really?
open up a
What?
can of
Really?
biscuits? It's like a bomb.
In fairness, I cut my finger just opening a box, so
Yeah.
I get it. It happens.
Look, see, I got
believe
my
it.
wound right here from this
you're-
morning.
Because
You're
it's such a weird lie.
You're
to say I was
nasty.
making
You're a
soup.
nasty girl.
You're a
Beadle.
nasty woman. Winner, Celebrity Games. Tennis player Nick Kyrgios was recently released from his contract. Now he's going to be free to play in the NBA Celebrity Game. But who's going to know who he will be, Marcellus?
Oh, that's messed up. He's recognizable. You're
Is
like,
he?
I've seen you somewhere
Really? Because he's
before
been in the
that.
studio this whole
Yeah.
time and you haven't even looked over
Take
there.
it from a D-lister. He's like a C-lister. Like, you know him more than you know us. Like, you can be like, I know
Yeah,
that
but
guy.
we're not playing in the celebrity anything.
That's
Does
true.
Well, not what you do.
Does he even have
Not
handle?
that one.
Is
Yeah.
he gonna like show out on beat? Oh, I'm not allowed to mention Justin Bieber on the show, right?
No,
Is
you're
that-
not.
No, the
Oh,
Bieber free.
I'm not,
Yeah,
probably
fine.
not welcome back.
Isn't it obvious he's made more money than he ever imagined? So
Yeah,
now he's just
so-
like, I don't care.
Yeah, he's like the guy that was born with the talent. Doesn't really care.
No, you know what?
He'll show
He's
up when
like,
he
he's
has
like
to,
the
maybe.
rapper who wants to be a professional athlete, or the professional
So
athlete
all
who
of
wants to
them?
be a
I'm
rapper.
about to say, I'm over here. You have to talk in this ambiguous
Maybe.
way. I'm right here.
Yeah, he is right there. He's